Alright my friends, it's that time of the month again. Today we're checking out some guitar clips from my student community on Patreon. We're gonna brutally roast their playing, and with that I mean giving very helpful feedback. So you, the awesome person that's watching this video, will benefit a lot when it comes to your guitar skills. And if you want your clip in the next video, just join the VIP or Platinum member tier on patreon.com/BERNTH. You will get access to the monthly feedback post right away, and you can just drop your link there, like right here. Ooh, and this is the solo from lesson number 316 on Patreon. Really tricky one. Nice. It was a really good take. I think the moment everyone was waiting for is that last arpeggio with the pinky finger rolling. That's really hard. It sounds pretty good right away. Also, that alternate picking part is really cool. One thing I would personally work on a little bit is nicely connecting every single part. Because right here, for example, you could hear after the first bending part, there's a small break before you go into the next one. And that's mainly because of this challenge that I kind of forced you to do with this workout. This one is all about switching between two different thumb approaches. The thumb over the neck for some nice bending and vibrato. The thumb behind the fingers for the more technical stuff. And I can see you're doing that and it works really great. The one final detail that's kind of missing is fluidly connecting those two approaches. So when I first started out doing this, I think I was also thinking quite a lot about, okay, thumb needs to go here for the bends, thumb needs to go here for the technical stuff. But as you do this more and more, it should become very automated. You won't have these breaks anymore. That sweep was also really nice. One thing that I could see with those sweeps is that I think you're anchoring with your fingers on the guitar, which is something you don't do with the alternate picking. And the picking angle change when it comes to the down and up movements is also quite drastic. So you're switching between two pretty extreme angles when it comes to the sweeping, and it looks a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. I think I also changed my angle just a little bit when it comes to the up and down movements, so that I don't grip it too hard and make it go against the strings like this. I also rest my fingers. So the big picking angle change with the sweep picking directions might be what's causing a little bit of unwanted noise here and there. So I would personally try to play those arpeggios more relaxed, and I know that it's hard because you have the pinky finger rolling and the finger rolling in general in there. But when it comes to picking technique, the alternate picking and sweep picking feels pretty similar, if not the same, with my picking hand. That really helps me with connecting those two different techniques when I'm playing. So for me, the individual building blocks sound really awesome here. And my next personal goal would be connecting all the parts nicely, the finger approach and also the picking approaches. But I posted this a couple of days ago, really, and you covered it right away. So I think it's just a matter of time with that section. Really awesome job. I'm super proud of you. Oh, and then we have Ed right here playing Waterworks. Awesome. Can't wait to check that out. Waterworks is a really hard song and I have to play it in 1 week at a festival. I prepared a really cool arrangement. Charles, the great bass player from YouTube, is playing bass on that one. So I'm practicing this one a lot. Let's see how Ed is doing. Nice. Intro was awesome already. You can hear every single harmonic. Sweeping those harmonics is also super tricky. So you got all the details down nicely. Super cool, sparkly, clean tone. Even those tapping harmonics, I don't really hear them played in most covers, but the part that I'm interested about the most is coming up in a little while, that I've never heard played correctly so far. It's this one. I think that's the best Waterworks version I've heard so far. Very cool. There are so many tricky details like the sweep, getting all those harmonics to sound, the tapping harmonics. But actually the part that I'm talking about that I've never really seen phrased correctly is that modular picking part that's kind of a mix between strumming and sweep picking. The way Ed is playing it is actually the correct way. It's not just strumming chords, it's actually a rhythmical pattern of 16th note triplets in this case. So I'm excited to see this picked correctly, kind of for the first time. So this is a completely unedited take of something super hard. Also one of the more important details, I really like how the chord is overlapping with the harmonics. With a lot of covers, people tend to play the chord first and then switch the hand position to play the harmonics on top. But I actually think the coolest detail of this part is that the harmonics are actually overlapping with the chord, which is what Ed is awesomely demonstrating right here. Yes. Yeah, and that sweep is yeah, I know it's super hard, very, very tricky to get it right. It also took me a very long time, so I think this is the only isolated thing that I would pay more attention to. Maybe only working on that sweep. Getting it to sound nice and fluid with a clean tone, super, super hard. But for your first decent take, this is absolutely spectacular, Ed. Thanks so much for this. Makes me super proud to see you playing this song. You make me very, very happy with that rendition. We have Danny, part of an original song. I know it's not the most complicated, breathtaking shred machine type of a solo. Sometimes less is more. No, more is always more. Just kidding, of course. Nice melodies. Yeah, taking it to the next level with the picking here. It was pretty cool, and I have to say you're right, this part doesn't really need a lot of shredding and crazy stuff. So you've convinced me with the less is more approach for this section. What I would personally work on the most with this guitar solo is the vibrato technique. So this is a sound that's sometimes referred to as nervous vibrato because it's very quick at all times, and sometimes it only comes from the finger pushing up and down, while the backing track being kind of laid back, so it would actually allow for some really nice wide vibrato for those cool melodies. I think the best way of understanding that is thinking like a singer when it comes to this. So if you would sing this melody, you wouldn't really sing it with that kind of super fast, intense vibrato. A little bit more variation on that and making it more controlled would be really, really awesome. And that's the only thing I would honestly change with this solo, because it's really good otherwise. Awesome job. Then we have one from Mitch. Ah, okay. So I don't have access. When you share Google Drive links or any other file sharing links, please make sure that I actually have access, or that everyone has access to what you're posting. So I sadly can't watch this one. I'd love to watch it next time. We have Miles. Any critique on music video quality for this cover? Awesome. What? Nice. Okay, so how am I supposed to predict this in any way that makes sense? This looks better than all of my videos that I'm posting. So first of all, awesome solo. It's from the latest Megadeth record, if I'm not mistaken. And I really love this approach of making guitar clips more interesting and not just sitting at home playing the solo. I know there are people who appreciate those more raw videos, but I personally really love stuff like that. By the way, I have to subscribe. Yeah, subscribe now. Immediately makes me think about how you did the first effect. It's basically tracing your guitar. My guess would be you're using After Effects and you have some kind of layer mask. Awesome. I don't know how to do that. And right here it seems like the camera is tracking the guitar. I think you're jumping. The rhythmic cutting on the guitar solo, also super interesting. Some dramatic zooms and like a handheld cam style for the climax. This is kind of the best combination for me, an interesting video with a super well played performance. I've seen a lot of TikTok videos where they kind of experiment with effects on a guitar, like they show the lyrics of a song on the guitar neck, or the fretboard is burning or something like this, but the playing isn't really that interesting. But with this video you have some phenomenal playing, so I'm super impressed with that one. I would love to know how you did the first effect especially. I'm not gonna steal it. And also how long it took you to make this video, because if you can pump out content like this on a pretty regular basis, I think you're on a great way if you want to attract more eyes to your playing on social media. Really, really awesome. We have one from Patrick. Ooh, nice. Pretty famous technical death metal band right here. So let's see what song we have right here. Ah, okay, I don't know this song. Nice. So what I immediately like is the very controlled playing style we see right here. I know I'm repeating myself, but for this kind of technical playing, the closed hand is definitely the way to go. And this is a great demonstration. You can hear how clean the picking actually is. So the alternate picking is really, really good. If you feel like the string transitions are sometimes tripping you up a little bit, You could try to go for an even smaller movement, because right now you have that really good wrist motion already developed, but it's pretty big for those picking strokes, and I think you're playing at 65% speed. So if you want to speed it up even more, I think the movements have to get a little bit smaller. Might also really help you with getting rid of the string noise. I think those mostly happen when you're transitioning between strings or when you're switching between the alternate picking and the sweep picking here. Switching between the tapping and the picking right here was super clean. Very, very nice moment. Okay, so I know it can be super frustrating, but right here it says solo practice day 1, and I think for day 1 those are some really, really awesome results. The only thing I can observe when it comes to the picking technique is that the strokes might be a little bit too big. Reducing the size of the movement just a little bit might help with navigating the strings a little bit better and switching between those different picking styles. I think the fretting hand is super controlled. Fingers are close to the neck. Sometimes the pinky finger is moving away a little bit, but I think this concerns us all. So I think in, let's say, 1 week we will see a pretty much perfect take in the Facebook group. I'm pretty sure you're gonna nail this if this is the foundation you're starting out with. Awesome job. Then Kyle says a lot of firsts here for me on this one. First metal song, nice. First time writing real leads. First time using effects at all. First time playing a 5-string bass. First time using any synth. So this is also about advice when it comes to mix, songwriting and mastering. So we got a really cool melody, and I can already hear the next octave coming in right here, I think. Yeah. Nice, very catchy. One thing I could hear, some noise right here. Yeah, so small details like this really have an effect on the sound of the whole production. I know all about it because I sometimes do this, and I think, yeah, I'll fix it later because it's not a huge mistake. It's just a guitar take that's too long in the project and you would have to cut it at the end. But my biggest advice when it comes to production, mix and mastering is treating every step very seriously, because the more small details you have in your song like this that are kind of off a little bit, the less professional it sounds. So it's not all about guitar tone, fancy mixing or EQ trick. If you get some really clean takes and you take it very seriously, the song sounds much better right away without any magic tricks or super advanced production tips. Some more atmospherical sounds. Nice. Okay, so at this part the drums kind of just cut out. So having a small break with the drums right here definitely works, but it sounds like the audio track is simply cut off or you forgot to program something. So maybe some kind of small fill, or it could just be a tom hit or something like that, would make what's happening here a little bit clearer. What I do like a lot is how tight the rhythm guitars are interlocked with the kick drum pattern. It's very crucial when it comes to metal like this. Overall, when it comes to the sound of the drums, I do like the kick drum a lot, but the snare is really, really weak in the mix. So that kind of strong backbeat is kind of missing. If you're like most people, you just have one drum track, one MIDI track and plugin that's playing it for you. What really helps with mixing all this is exporting every single track individually. So all the drums like the kick drum, snare drum, the toms, the overheads, the room, then mixing it like that. So I think for fans of that kind of pagan Viking metal stuff, this would work really, really well. I would personally just focus a little bit on getting cleaner lead guitar takes. I also couldn't really hear that awesome 5-string bass that much. Maybe it could need a little bit more of a treble boost and some distortion. I'd personally bring the snare way up in the mix. And to me personally, this kind of arrangement is kind of missing vocals. To me, it doesn't really sound like an instrumental song because it's quite formulaic. It would be pretty cool to hear you sing over that next time if you want to. But for the first metal song, really awesome, and it definitely beats my first metal song. So we have a song once again from Balash. Talk a bit about songwriting, instrument alignment, mixing, mastering. Ah yes, I saw that in the VIP Facebook group already. Nice. Got some vocals with this one. So what I like about this one is that the lead guitar works pretty great with the vocals. Not exactly playing the vocal melody, but there are some parts when they overlap and that's super catchy. I also love the entire pirate theme. Nice. I like how it's evolving harmonically right here. Super epic part. Also really high vocal line. It's not easy to sing. I think it's not that easy to mix and master this one because you have a lot of different layers. What works pretty well for me is the guitar tone, both the lead and the rhythm guitar stuff. It sounds super fleshed out with me. It merges nicely with the drums and with the entire arrangement. What's a little bit difficult maybe is the vocal effect on mainly the vocals in the verse. I like that you mix the vocals loudly. They should definitely be front and center. But overall, I think the delay is taking up a lot of space in the mix. And I feel like it's taking away a bit from the clarity of the whole song. It's always tricky because, of course, you don't want your vocals to be completely dry. For my personal taste, I think it's a bit too much. Then I really like the strings here. It really adds a lot to the fantastical vibe of the song and the pirate theme, all of that. But they're also kind of completely taking over the arrangement right here. So they are much louder than the guitars, the drums and all of that. And it doesn't really sound like everything's merging together nicely here. So I think I would put them a little bit lower in the mix and maybe also tame the higher frequencies just a little bit. The most important with this is that the song is good and I think it's really cool. I love the pirate's tale as well. I think it's super impressive that you're doing the guitars, the vocals, the synths like the keyboards and all that. And at least in my opinion, I feel like you're getting better with your music with every single post and I enjoy them a lot. So thanks so much for sharing this one with us. Adam says, I'm looking for songwriting feedback. And he says, by the way, it's Ultimus. Got a nice epic sample right at the start. That always helps. Some distorted drums. Okay, some pretty brutal stuff. And there's a lot going on. We got a lot of sample layers, we got a blast beat, some pinch harmonics, fast moving guitars and screaming. So the first thing I like about this is the pretty clean production. I personally don't listen to too much stuff like this anymore. But when I do, I really appreciate it if I can hear all the details in the guitar riffs and the drum beats. I tried to listen to a couple of modern bands in this genre, and because of the high technical level of drumming at the speed, all the guitar details and then the sample layers, like a whole symphony playing in the background and the guy screaming and crawling over all that, a lot of details get lost in the mix. But right here it's still quite transparent and relatively easy to listen to. Gravity blast. Nice rhythmic pattern. So cool production, lots of brutal riffs in there. What I'm kind of missing a little bit is some kind of recognizable theme for that song. It doesn't have to be a cheesy pop chorus or something like this. And I did like those short lead guitar parts. I was kind of sad that they didn't really lead anywhere. Oh, finally guitar solo time. Okay. No guitar solo. Maybe we'll get a guitar solo now? No. Kind of served like quick overdubs with this song. So in my opinion, pretty much as always, it would be pretty cool to hear this more fleshed out into a full solo. But cool track, thanks for posting it. Okay, my friends, those were all the clips from this month. I had tons of fun checking them out. If you want to be in the next video, just go to patreon.com/BERNTH and either choose the VIP or the Platinum membership. That way I will react to your video up next. A lot of people will see you playing and you might get some feedback that really helps you on your guitar journey. I will see you in the next lesson video on this channel. Have an amazing day. Greetings from Vienna and bye bye.